Happy Wednesday, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Musings following a playoff clinching draw on Saturday, which saw Detroit City FC move into the USL playoffs for a third consecutive year. Big news from the club this afternoon as another contract extension has been announced. Devin Amumensa is set to go for the next couple years for Detroit City SC. He signed a 2-year agreement extending his contract here, and this will go through till the 2026 campaign. So 2 more years of keyword for the stalwart backline mate of one Stephen Carroll. So the back line pretty much solidified. Trevor James doing his work behind the scenes as the sporting director there, making sure that happens there. So congratulations to Devin for getting that deal done. So now another piece of business taken care of as we head into the off season, which is not here yet, folks. We still got playoffs to go through, so don't panic, folks. So no panic in this town. So all good vibes here, as you know, for Detroit City as they make their way into the playoffs, and of course they could clinch home field with a win this coming Saturday at Keyworth Stadium. All they have to do is beat the Miami FC. They just announced that they had a couple people come onto their board to move things forward. Hopefully, there's been announcements of a new stadium in the works down in the Homestead area near the Homestead Miami Speedway. A little bit out of the Miami city limits, shall we say? But that yeah, that we'll save that for the Miami channels. But anyway, as far as Saturday goes, Detroit will clinch a top four finish if they win against Miami FC on Saturday. They will move clear of Rhode Island FC with a maximum of 53 points, and of course via the head-to-head tiebreaker at 1-0-1. And they will also clinch if Indy 11 fails to get a victory at Birmingham, or Tampa Bay fails to take a victory at Cary, North Carolina, as they are hosting North Carolina FC. Now, the scenario there, as far as that goes, is there has been damage to Al Lane Stadium, so that means they're unable to play there. Now, whether it affects their next two matches, there's been an announced match with them against Hartford for the following Wednesday. That'd be the 23rd. There's an announced match for that. So, whether it will be played in Hartford, whether it will be played at Tampa Bay, remains to be seen. Apparently, there has been some damages to Al Lane Stadium. There was damage to the facility that they could have used, which was Tropicana Field. So, and there's also been damage to Tampa Bay Suns Stadium, if they could have used that as well. So that's another scenario altogether. But right now, for the foreseeable future, Tampa Bay will be playing a road game or a home game in Cary, North Carolina. Apparently down there, that's a free of charge game. That game will be taking place 5 o'clock in the middle of our contest with Miami FC. So going back to the other scenario, Detroit City draws against them, moves to 51 points. Indy 11 would have to lose against Birmingham, and Rhode Island would have to fail to take victory against the Charleston Battery. But that means just clinching a home playoff spot. Doesn't mean that we clinch third. So, but clinching home field spot. I mean, there's a little bit of scenario there, as you know. But basically, first thing is take care of business on Saturday. You went down to Miami first time around, 4-0 victory there. So this is a team that's pretty easy to beat. So, I mean, but this is also a team that if you're not careful enough, and we've seen this happen before with Detroit City playing down to their competition, if you're not careful enough, you could squander a point, maybe, or squander a couple points, maybe 3 points, if you're not careful. So, in this situation here, take care of business, get the goal, buckle down defense, whatever you got to do. Take care of business on Saturday, and then everything hopefully will work out for itself. Taking a look at the standings now in the Eastern Conference as we speak, and we're only doing the top 11. Why we do the top 11? Miami's out. They're out of playoff contention. Everybody else right now is in playoff contention in the Eastern Conference. Start off first with the Players' Shield winners, Louisville City. They're sitting on the top spot, 72 points, on a pace to breaking a record in USL Championship, most points in the history of the USL Championship. They can do that with wins this weekend and next Saturday as well. In second place, Charleston Battery, they can't be caught. They're solidly in at 60 points. Batting third, or coming in third, God bless you, Jim Price, is Detroit City, sitting at 50 points, 2 points ahead of the Indy 11 at 48 points. That's the scenario I just gave you a little bit ago. Rhode Island sitting at 47 points. Tampa Bay sitting at 46 points. That's your 4th, 5th, and 6th right now. Gets interesting towards the bottom. Pittsburgh sitting in 7th place with 42 points. North Carolina FC sitting in 8th place at 42 points. You think North Carolina needs that win on Saturday? Pretty big. Especially if it's not a home game in their home field. Yeah, they kind of do need that game. Mind you, against a struggling Tampa Bay side. But we'll go over that a little bit more as, I talk a little bit later on the musings. I'll do a little sneak preview of that one as we look at the games that are going to go on Saturday. Birmingham also sitting at 42 points. North Carolina owns the tiebreaker there. That's why this situation. Loudoun United also sitting at 42 points. 4 teams right now from 7th on down to 10th are sitting at 42 points. There's a logjam at the bottom of the playoff race as we speak. And Hartford Athletic is only 2 points behind, sitting at 40. So this could all change by the time we're done with games on Saturday night as far as the Eastern Conference goes. Look at the opponents coming up. Really, right now, we're already into the playoffs. Our main concern right now is getting top 4, but there's going to be some interesting matchups on Saturday as well. First off, let's look at what we got going as far as what is going on Saturday, though. Let's see, preview of a couple of these games here. Obviously, the one that's going to come close to mind is at 5 o'clock. Tampa Bay will be hosting North Carolina FC at Wake Med Park. That'll be a 5 o'clock kickoff there. So that scenario is 2 teams draw. It pretty much will help Detroit City FC as far as their chances go should they win on Saturday afternoon. Indy 11 hosts Birmingham Legion. That's a 7 o'clock kick. Of course, the Legion in that dogfight or in that knife fight on the bottom of the Eastern Conference right now, sitting at 42 points. They desperately need a victory there. Win or draw there. Coupled with the if a Detroit City victory happens, that will put Detroit City in the top four. It will clinch a top four spot for Detroit City. Charleston Battery takes on Rhode Island FC. They're both at 42, right? Or actually, Rhode Island right now, they would need to lose. They would need to drop points in this one because they're in that battle right now for the top four. So they would need to drop points. Charleston Battery, they need to get points. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. That's a 7:30 kickoff on Saturday. Let's see here. As far as everything else goes, that is all the major ones there. One Eastern Conference East-West game, that is Lou City taking on San Antonio, and San Antonio desperately needs points to keep up in the pillow fight in the West, and that's an 8:30 kickoff down in San Antonio. So that's the only other Eastern Conference action that'll be going on Saturday night. Of course, we'll be recapping all that stuff after hours on Saturday, getting me caught up sort of in the Western Conference playoff situation, but mainly heavily focusing on that Eastern playoff situation, the top four spot, as far as Detroit City is concerned, and the battle for playoff position in the rest, for the rest of the conference as well. I forgot to mention Hartford Athletic, the other East-West matchup. Of course, Hartford is 2 points behind the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. I believe that's a 6:00 kick as well. They go on the same time Loudoun takes on Pittsburgh on Saturday. So it's going to be a hectic couple weeks going into the playoffs right now. All we know is Detroit City's in. Don't have to worry about that. So that's good news there. But the point is trying to get that home playoff spot, and they can go a long way in securing that by getting a victory on Saturday against the Miami FC. So do everything as we usually do. Soccer Night in Detroit kicks things off prior to the match. Look for that video an hour before the match on Saturday from Keyworth Stadium as we get you set for the action there. We kick off the day, of course, at 4:00 for what looks to be a wild day of action in the penultimate week of USL Championship play. So until then, folks, really not much else to say here except keep your feet in the ground and keep reaching for the galaxy.